Okay, now we'll hit up the actual processor, the big monster, AMD Phenom II X6 1100T, biggest AMD desktop grade processor currently available. Open this guy up real quick. Here you've got the booklet that says our stuff is awesome, don't break it, in multiple languages. Gives you some old socket sets. I don't know why they would include that, but they do. So there's that. This large box, what is that? Get started. Huh. This CD auto-installs AVG antivirus. It's the first time I've seen a processor ever come with antivirus software. That is so weird. Oh, side note, okay. Now, this is going to be the stock cooling fan for the processor itself. I will not be using this fan, however, because I have the Tunique that we'll show you here in a minute. But here you've got a 4-pin connector for the motherboard. That's where it would actually control the fan speed and give it power. On the bottom, always take these things off. Worked on one guy's computer once, he forgot to take this off. Melted it onto his processor. Totally ruined. As you can see, it's solid copper on the bottom. This heatsink comes with a pre-applied pad of thermal paste. This is okay. This is what they issue to be sufficient to cool the processor. So it's totally awesome. Unfortunately, it's not going to be what I'm using, because I like my processor to run colder than it's supposed to. Because you get slightly higher performance out of it, even if you're not overclocking, which I am not going to be doing anyway. So we'll put that back. All this stuff over here. And then there is the actual most expensive part of your computer, for the most part. Your video card's probably going to be higher priced than this, but this little tiny guy is what powers pretty much everything. He comes seated on this little black foam pad, which will protect all of these metal pins. I don't know how detailed you can see that layout, but there are hundreds of pins on there. Any of those are bent and it is pretty much ruined. And then on the processor itself, it has the designation of the processor and everything. I'm going to go ahead and sit that back in there because I don't like touching those too much. And then it comes with another little badge sticker that you can put onto the case somewhere. That's really all there is to show when it comes to processors. Not much exciting there, at least at the moment. Let's put all that back. Still tripping about that antivirus software. I've never seen that before. I've seen it on motherboards a couple of times, but not processors. That's weird. Okay, so we'll set that aside. Now let's go to something else quick and small. These are my G.Skill Ripjaws RAM sticks. These are awesome. Okay, so these are 4 gig. This is actually a 4 gig set. So each one of these sticks is a 2 gig stick of DDR3 12800. So, is that right? No, I'm a liar. It's PC3 12800, DDR3 1600. Both of those numbers technically refer to the exact same thing, they're just measured differently. So you get the 2 different ratings. But if you refer to PC3 12800, you're actually also referring to DDR3 1600. So each one of these sticks is difficult to get out of the packaging apparently. 2 gigs. This set right here would total 4 gigs. If you remember, my motherboard had 4 slots on it. I'm actually going to be getting an identical pair donated directly by DraysenPie. You all know him from my Serious Sam playthroughs, and he will also be joining us for I believe he's going to be joining us for some Minecraft multiplayer, so that'll be exciting. So there's my RAM. These, oh, I'm sorry, I totally left that part out. These blue things on the top are actually heat spreaders. Most RAM sticks don't require these. However, the higher speed RAM you get with the lower, what is it called, CAS latency, the more heat the RAM stick itself is going to produce. These heat spreaders pull some of the heat off the stick into these fins, and then they're assuming that you're going to have some airflow blowing across the top of these fins to distribute the heat out the case. When I build my system, I'll try to figure something out with that. So, there's that. Now, this is something that I didn't tell any of y'all I was getting. This was directly donated to me, again, by NappyFS this time. This is a 60 gig solid-state SATA 2 hard drive. This is what a lot of people were asking if I was actually going to be able to get my hands on. Unfortunately, it was not in my initial budget for my parts. However, NappyFS was kind enough to purchase one for me outright and ship it directly to me. Well, let me rephrase that. Shipped it to himself and then gave it to me. So, let's open this sucker up. These are actually smaller than standard sized hard drives. As you can probably tell, the box is smaller than a standard hard drive on its own. Get that out of there. Never actually opened one. Pop out. Okay, this is a plate, because a lot of cases don't actually have 2.5-inch hard drive screw layouts. I think the Antec Landboy Air does. However, this is a little adapter plate where you can screw your 2.5-inch hard drive into these 4 screw holes here, mounted there, and then this will slide into a standard 3.5-inch hard drive slot, and you would screw this plate in as though it were a hard drive. So, regardless of the kind of case you have, this 2.5-inch hard drive will work fine. And then here is the monster. What is that? Is that screws? Get out of there. Come here. Yeah, it includes the screws for either screwing directly into this plate or for screwing into your case. However, if you're screwing it into the case, I'll have to check and make sure the thread is correct. I don't need that. Okay, so of course, caution, this device can be damaged by static electricity, so don't go running your socked feet over the carpet in cold weather and then handling one of these guys. Now, there he is. It's basically super lightweight. You know, it hardly weighs anything. This has standard SATA power and SATA data connection cables on the back of it. However, the difference in a solid-state hard drive from a standard hard drive is a standard hard drive is made out of physical spinning disks. So you have issues where if data is scattered around your disk, like if your hard drive needs defragmenting, it'll take longer for the data to be registered. Plus the arm of the disk has to physically move out there and read the data, kind of like a record player used to. This is basically, for lack of a better description, basically just full of RAM sticks, for the most part. It's got tons of those RAM stick chips on boards in here that actually store your data. So you never really, quote unquote, never really have to defrag this because there's no spinning disks, there's no read arm to have to move to certain areas of disk to read. If your drive becomes fragmented and data is just scattered all over the drive, this can read it just as fast as if it was all continuous. Plus, the way defragmentation software is, for the most part, currently created, it's designed to estimate where the beginning of the disk is at the center of the actual spinning disk. However, this doesn't have a true beginning or end to it. So, if you don't have a defragmentation software that specifically states it is built to defrag solid-state drives, it's not really going to do you any good anyway. A lot of people argue that defragging this drive is going to reduce its life because each one of those memory chips has a certain number of available read-write sectors on it. The amount of times you can write to each one of those chips has a limited lifespan. However, I kind of Googled it when I got it in, and it was saying something like they had done some research on it and said that if you read and write to it 10 times a day, every single day, it would take something like 15 years before the cells started to die. My SSD is faster than your HDD. Oh, in your face. Put that on your backpack and take it to high school and you'll be like the uber nerd. So, let's drop that back in there. This is probably, I just realized, some of y'all have probably already posted comments below this video saying, oh my god, what's wrong with your finger? It looks so jacked up.